Now on CoastTV News.
New tariffs on Canadian and Mexican imports could shake up local prices.
Emergency snow routes in Milton where you can and can't park during a storm.
And speaking of storms, we have the threat of severe thunderstorms at 5 o'clock for Wednesday, and tornadoes not outside of the possibility as well. More on what I'm tracking coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
New tariffs loom as shoppers search for groceries. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 5. We begin tonight with new taxes on imported goods from Canada and Mexico.
As of today, the U.S. is imposing a 25% tariff on everything from those countries. As CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, people have a lot of questions on day one of this change.
Carol Garner manages R&L Liquors. She imports products from both Canada and Mexico monthly.
People do, they use tequila all year long.
Garner's not sure if the 25% on, in her case, tequila, will cut back on sales or her bottom line.
We'll see how much it is. I try not to raise my prices if I don't have to. But, I may have to with this.
Before this, most goods that moved between the United States and the two countries were tariff-free due to the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Economists say importers pay the tariff and often pass it along to the consumer, meaning things like avocados and cars, too big imports could get more expensive. I spoke with one shopper who said she's just thankful that spring is around the corner so that she can plant her own fruits and vegetables since she's worried tariffs will increase the price of produce. Paul Silverman says as a shopper, he's going to take it day by day.
It's going to hurt a little bit, obviously, but like I say, I want to be optimistic that the president knows what he's doing and that eventually it's going to work out in our favor, but I don't know.
Whether it's tequila on the shelves or groceries, shoppers and store owners alike are cautiously bracing for impact. In Lewis, I'm Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
President Trump has said tariffs will create more factory jobs, shrink the federal deficit, lower food prices, and allow the government to subsidize childcare. Economists disagree, and on our website we have a chart showing the biggest imports from Canada and Mexico and an in-depth breakdown on those tariffs.
Meanwhile, China and Canada moved swiftly today to retaliate against the new tariffs. China adding tariffs of up to 15% on some U.S. goods like chicken and cotton. And that begins on March 10th. China also restricting exports to 15 U.S. companies. On the other hand, Canada vowed tariffs of up to 25%. Mexico's president announced her country would enact countermeasures in response to the U.S. tariffs, saying it would use tariff and non-tariff measures. Now, a non-tariff measure is something like a license requirement, quotas, or embargoes.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also said his country will file claims with the World Trade Organization over President Trump's tariffs. Trudeau said if Trump's tariffs don't cease, there are discussions about pursuing those non-tariff measures.
I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you.
Mexico's president slammed a statement by the White House where Trump said using tariffs to punish countries that, as he put it, are taking from the U.S. economy without giving enough in return. Here is what Mexico's president had to say.
The White House published an offensive and defamatory statement without substance about the Mexican government that we categorically deny and condemn.
The president said Mexico doesn't want a trade war and no one benefits from what she called the unilateral decision made by the United States. This brings us to our Coast TV poll today. We want to know, how will tariffs impact your shopping?
Let's take a look at the results so far. Take a look at your screen here. 46% say no change, 28% say buy less, 13% say pay more, and 13% say shop alternatives, though this is the first time we've put this poll out here.
And we do have a comment today from Maria in Rehoboth Beach. Maria says, quote, as a small business owner, I am really worried about my costs. They're already rising, and I think tariffs will make it worse, unquote. If you haven't voted yet, you can do that at coasttv.com or leave a comment. You can also vote on our Coast TV mobile app. We continue in politics. In just a few hours, President Trump will address a joint session of Congress and the nation for the first time since his return to the White House. NBC's Jay Gray has a closer look at what we could expect in tonight's address.
We're making a speech. You probably heard about it.
His address to Congress and the nation, a senior administration official tells NBC News, will focus on the president's domestic agenda. Tariffs activated overnight, border security and deportation efforts, the elimination of federal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, and the Department of Government Efficiency's lightning-paced actions to reduce the size of the federal government by slashing budgets and reducing the workforce. Let us work! Tens of thousands have lost their jobs.
And so when the news came, everyone around me was in disbelief. I mean, people were crying.
Democrats questioning the legality and effectiveness of those cuts and the focus of the president during the first 43 days of his second term.
A majority of Americans believe that Donald Trump has ignored the number one issue they care about: inflation, rising costs.
In a new NPR PBS Marist poll ahead of tonight's speech, Americans are split on the administration's efforts. 54% say the country is moving in the wrong direction, 45% saying it's on the right track. President Trump's approval rating also at 45%. His address will also likely touch on changing international relationships.
You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position.
4 days after an Oval Office shouting match with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, overnight the administration announces a pause in U.S. military aid to Ukraine, calling for an end to its war with Russia and a lasting peace agreement between Israel and Hamas, suggesting the U.S. should control and rebuild the Gaza Strip. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington.
Much of the president's address is expected to center cuts carried out by DOGE and where the department plans to go from here. The White House confirming today Elon Musk, the billionaire spearheading the cuts, will be inside the House chamber tonight.
Tonight, join NBC News for special coverage of this joint address to Congress. Coverage begins at 9 p.m. right here on Coast TV.
And we're taking a live look into Ocean City right now. We got a nice little sunset happening. Let's check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. And Paul, you're taking a look at a few things.
It's because, believe it or not, the warm weather we're experiencing right now is a setup for strong and possibly severe storms for tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and jump straight to the heart of things. Looking at Wednesday afternoon from our forecasting maps. Now, as we go into 3:30, we start seeing heavier showers kick in. But here's the concern. You see this line right here? Usually the red, and I'm simplifying it for you, the red is usually a concern for severe weather. Darker red, that's where we could possibly see the spawning of possible supercell thunderstorms or perhaps even a tornado. At 5:30, making its way through Ocean View and right along the coast. And then we have an overcast of significant storms that's going to push through. And we are in the zone of concern, at least very slight for the entire state, which includes our neck of the woods. So we're watching out for strong storms, at least a low to moderate chance of tornadic activity. Not so much with flooding, although we are expecting more than an inch of rain in our neck of the woods. Now, we want to also real quickly remind you, be sure that you scan that QR code in the corner of your screen. You're going to need our weather app to keep you updated on what's happening. We're going to update you on what's happening on our radio as well as our app and all of our social media platforms, because tomorrow, Maddie, is going to be a day we're going to have to watch out for dangerous weather.
Thank you. Well, this year alone, Sussex County has had to deal with snow on 4 different occasions. Hard to forget that, whether it was a full-on storm or just a dusting. Well, Milton has now amended its emergency snow routes, where homeowners are expected to keep the road clear of their cars. Joining us live there in Milton is Coast TV News reporter Zakia Jennings. Zakia, the snow routes in Milton, kind of all over.
Let me show you 2 of those streets. Now we're going to take a look here at Chestnut Street. There are always cars parked along this street on either side, but when it snows here in Milton, you can't park along either side of the street. Now follow me over this way. We're going to take a look at Mill Street, specifically the east side of the street, where these cars are parked at over here. You cannot park there when it snows in Milton. Now these are 2 of the 10 emergency snow routes in Milton. Take a look at this map. See those red lines? You can't park on either side of those streets. For that one yellow line, that's telling you that you can't park on the east side of Mill Street, which we just showed you. Similar situation with the blue line. You can't park on the north side of Broad Street. Wall Street parking is a necessity for some. For people like Michael Ostinato, who lives on Chestnut Street, it's something he does out of convenience.
My wife goes all over the place, and then I would have to back my truck out. And then if I put it first and she backed up, then I would have to go somewhere. And it's just a big hassle.
I know that map was up for just a short time, so to take a closer look and see if your street is an emergency snow route, visit CoastTV.com. Live in Milton, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
A proposed animal shelter in Kent County, Delaware, is triggering backlash from neighbors. Why the type of the animal being sheltered is raising questions.
And in light of possibility of tornadoes in our area, I want to remind you about tornado safety real quickly. Now remember, when it comes to a possible tornado, you need to go into the most inside portion of your home, possibly downstairs, cover yourself with blankets or mattress for protection if needed. And if you have a basement, that's the best place for you. We want to keep you weather aware as we brace ourselves for the first threat of severe storms in our area.
Budget cuts in the Chesapeake Bay, why advocates say losing vital funding could do serious damage to decades of work. Up next.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Waikamaco Civic Center. Browse the largest display of hot tubs, cold therapy tubs, and swim spas in the region, with over 30 spas from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. That's this weekend at the Waikamaco Civic Center in Salisbury. Visit spaexpo.com.
Winter is here and it's time to stay cozy. But is your heating system ready to play its part? Don't roll the dice on comfort or safety. Call FH Fur for our $69 heating maintenance and safety inspection. We'll fine-tune your system so it's ready to tackle winter's chill. No sweat or shivers. With nearly 40 years of trusted service, FH Fur Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, and Electrical are the pros who've seen and fixed it all.
877-GOLFER. FHFur.com.
Imagine having the perfect space for your loved ones, a private retreat for guests, or even an extra source of income right on your property. At Berica Homes, we specialize in building backyard cottages, in-law suites, and smaller-sized homes that blend seamlessly into your property. Whether it's for family, for guests, or for work, Berica's precision-built cottages are crafted for both functionality and efficiency. Ready to unlock the potential in your property? Visit BericaHomes.com and discover the cottage that fits your needs.
We could practice our skills anywhere, but here is where we've chosen to be. It's here that we find new ways to create hope, give second chances, save lives. One day your heart will need us, and on that day, we'll be ready, without missing a beat. The Heart and Vascular Institute at Bay Health. Our commitment runs deep.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Waikamaco Civic Center. Browse over 30 hot tubs and swim spas from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. Financing is available and show admission is free. That's this weekend at the Waikamaco Civic Center in Salisbury. Visit spaexpo.com.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Federal budget cuts are putting environmental organizations on high alert. The Trump administration has announced a proposed 65% cut to the Environmental Protection Agency.
The Chesapeake Bay Foundation says that's a major concern because of a potential trickle-down effect.
With funding being cut to state, scientific research, and eventually nonprofits that plant trees or do oyster restoration could feel the impact.
We're concerned about losing all federal funds, and I think we are seeing federal agencies that are losing staff every day. We're seeing grants frozen to and organizations that are key to implementing those grants and putting projects on the ground impacted. And then we're seeing these proposed budget cuts, which could be really detrimental as progress on the Chesapeake Bay is really in jeopardy.
The Chesapeake Bay Foundation says it's urging people to write Congress and oppose those budget cuts and protect environmental funding and staffing.
In light of the threat of severe weather for tomorrow, I want to remind you that a tornado watch, be prepared, conditions are favorable. A warning means take action. A tornado has been spotted, indicated by radar, and an emergency means severe threat to human life and catastrophic damage. Just as a reminder, we're going to go over that threat of tornadoes coming up.
At Lakeshore Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram of Seaford, our goal is to make sure that our employees are happy, which then leads to happy customers. By doing this every day, we are better able to offer our customers a great buying and service experience. Our customers get all this at the lowest prices in Sussex County. At Lakeshore Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram of Seaford, we are different and we prove it every day, one customer at a time. Call us at 302-990-3099 or shop us online at lakeshorecdjr.com.
Don't miss the Delaware Resorts Health, Fitness, and Leisure Expo, March 8th at Cape and Lopin High. Admission is free, so bring the family and tell your friends. Enjoy a full array of health, fitness, and leisure activities, physical therapy, health food, home products, and services. And BB Healthcare is offering free screenings. Don't miss the free Health, Fitness, and Leisure Expo, March 8th, 9 to 4 at Cape and Lopin High in Lewis.
Growing up is hard to do. Pressures surrounding teenagers often lead to risky behaviors, drug and alcohol use, and even mental illness. It's vitally important to teach them how to recognize their own triggers. Teen Intervene is an evidence-based program proven to reduce risky alcohol and drug use in kids aged 12 to 19 through confidential therapy sessions. Community Behavioral Health is here to help with virtual, in-person, or in-school sessions. Free to Worcester County teens. Open the door for a conversation with your child. Call Community Behavioral Health.
I think the best person to get out today is Letty. I like it when you do dirty deeds.
I'm going to tell Dave and Parv I'm with them. I'm going to tell Letty I'm with her. I am trying to play both sides. I can just taste the Final Five, baby.
Deal or No Deal Island, new tonight on NBC and Peacock.
I'm Tom Hanks, the narrator of The Americas. Her head's been turned. It's TV at its absolute finest.
The Americas, Sunday on NBC and Peacock.
Keep your home warm and cozy with Chesapeake Home Services. Right now, enjoy up to $1,000 off your new HVAC system, plus get a free air purifier. Call us today to learn about our 0% financing options and no money down programs. With Chesapeake, you get our risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason within the first year and we can't fix it, we'll buy it back. Chesapeake Home Services.
Service sure to make you smile. They always go the extra mile.
NBC Nightly News, weeknights at 6:30 on CoastTV.
We are bracing for the threat of severe thunderstorms, supercell thunderstorms, and there is a possibility of tornadoes hitting us right around this time for tomorrow. I'm going to show you the latest modeling of what's happening with it and the timing of it and pinpoint where we're expecting the worst of the storms, when, and where. Our tunnel razor camera in Lewis, we're at 56 degrees right now. Now that's warmer than the norm for this time of the year, and because of that elevated amount of heat in place, that helps to actually strengthen the storms that we anticipate with additional warm air headed in our direction. You see, this sets the stage right now. We're at 60 in Redden, 58 Georgetown, 55 Del Mar. So we have a day of warming up today and a day of warming up tomorrow. That gives us the thermodynamic threshold that's needed in order to fuel these storms. We are already under a wind advisory through all of Sussex inland areas, watching out for about 35 mile per hour winds. Not just for Sussex alone, but Ocean Pines, Ocean City as well. We're concerned about gusty winds. And along the beaches, the same situation, but even worse, looking for 45 mile per hour winds along the entire coastal region. So we have gale wind warnings in effect, not only on that side of the peninsula, but also for the folks that view us in Cambridge. And that storm's going to hit Cambridge first and then swing in our direction. Very gusty winds expected for the rest of the night going into Wednesday as the setup for this storm. The good news is we're in the slight category instead of the enhanced category, okay? I'm showing you this wider view to show you that things could be a lot worse, but we do have at least a low to short of moderate chance of tornadoes, but strong winds will be our primary concern for tomorrow, whether it's a severe thunderstorm or a tornado. So remember, we're under a red alert day for Wednesday, particularly in the afternoon. Our concerns, possible loss of power, damage likely to structures between 4 and 7 o'clock, particularly 5 o'clock. Now, we're at a red alert day. Remember that we have a threshold you have to cross for us to do that. That would be at least an inch of rain and at least 40 mile per hour winds. So let me show you why we validate and verify why we're talking about a red alert day. So the amount of rain we're expecting is between 0.92 to over an inch, generally for the entire area. So we reach the rainfall threshold. And the winds, 43 mile per hour wind gusts as early as 2:30, but watch this. At 5:30, when I'm expecting the really the apex of the storms to hit, we're looking at 52 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts, primarily out of the south. So that adds more thermodynamic energy to these possible storms as that cold front pushes through and kickstarts those storms. That same storm that's causing havoc in the deep south, that's what's going to swing its way towards us. It'll start off with the warm front initially, setting us up with energy, and then the cold front behind it, which will kickstart those storms. So let's dig into the timing. 4 o'clock, Seaford, Ellendale. Then 5:30, Milton, Millsboro, Delmar, down towards Salisbury. Then it kicks over towards Bethany Beach and Dewey Beach right around 6:30, 7 o'clock. For Ocean Pines, Berlin, Newark, and Snow Hill. 4 o'clock over towards Salisbury. Then we go through another part of the timeline. We're looking at the strong storm by Willards, Newark, Snow Hill at 5 o'clock. All right? Then we go through another timeline here. There we go. Then I'm looking, this is my biggest concern, the Newark community, quite frankly. Right around 5 o'clock, that's when I'm looking for that storm to hit there. And in Ocean Pines, then let's click over towards Ocean City. And then Ocean City by 5:30. This is also a fast-moving storm. Yet another parameter that tends us to think we're looking at a severe storm that could possibly turn tornadic. We will keep you updated. Be sure that you scan and get our app available. We're under a red alert day for Wednesday.
All right, Paul, thank you. A proposed animal sanctuary in Hartley is drawing mixed opinions. The First State Animal Center and SPCA says it will house mainly farm animals and a few senior dogs in need of care. But some neighbors are concerned about noise, fearing it could become a kennel for aggressive dogs. The SPCA says the sanctuary will house no more than 15 animals at a time.
We're not open to the public. The facility will just house 2 employees during the day and 2 employees at night. So we'll have caretakers, we'll have veterinary care and treatment plans for all the animals.
Officials say the facility will be fully fenced in and have 24/7 monitoring. And here's what's next. Thursday night, a public hearing will be held at Kent County Levy Court. Following that hearing, the Planning Commission will have 1 week to review and decide whether to proceed with the shelter.
Listen to this. Delaware saw a record-breaking 29.3 million visitors in 2023. That's a 2.4% increase from the previous year. All this according to a new report from the Delaware Tourism Office. Visitor spending reached $7 billion, generating $724 million in tax revenue. According to the report, tourism remains a major employer, supporting over 55,000 jobs. It accounted for 14% of all new jobs created last year. There's a lot more data on this story right now on CoastTV.com.
Coming up, mystery alerts, the false warnings pilots have been receiving. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5.
At Patio Systems, integrity is the pillar of our craft, creating outdoor havens that stand the test of time. Expand your outdoor season with the shore's best selection of screens and glass enclosures, pergolas, retractable awnings, and a wide selection of modern decking and railing systems. Visit our new showroom located on Coastal Highway and experience our products firsthand, or schedule a free consultation with our friendly staff. Be on the lookout for our sales now through March 1st at Patio Systems, locally owned and operated since 2001.
Sponsored by Patio Systems, where integrity is the pillar of our craft.
At All Mobility, we keep you moving. Whether it's wheelchair-accessible vans, scooters, home ramps, or lift chairs, we've got the perfect mobility solution for you. Our experts will help customize options to fit your needs and lifestyle so you can stay independent and active. Scooters, ramps, vans, and more. Get moving with All Mobility. Come see us today or schedule a home consultation. allmobilitystore.com.
We're looking for our first house. We're growing a family. The Parker Group and our realtor, Jen, they were great. Helped us get our first home. That was a very smooth, easy process, especially for our first time. Family expanded a little bit more. We went right to the Parker Group because how easy it was first time. And before we knew it, here we are in our next home and we love it.
Our experience with the Parker Group was seamless.
Our realtor and the Parker Group was almost like a family in a way. They were there for us when we needed them. That was a big thing.
100% we would go with the Parker Group again.
Your home is a reflection of who you are. And sometimes cookie-cutter kitchens just don't reflect your lifestyle. Our team at Kitchen Concepts Plus can help you get the kitchen of your dreams. In over 20 years of business, we've built thousands of kitchens that have converted regular old cooking spaces into a kitchen that's as unique as you are. Talk to one of our experts to make your dream kitchen come to life.
To learn more about Kitchen Concepts Plus, visit delmarvaexperts.com.
You may think your home's crawl space is okay, but chances are it's not. Mold, pests, and rotting beams can all cause problems for your home and for your family. The good news is your home's crawl space problems can be fixed permanently, so you and your family can rest easy. Because crawl space problems won't get better with time, but they will get better with us. Call Dry Zone today for your free estimate.
Brought to you by Dry Zone, your local crawl space experts.
The FAA is investigating after some commercial flights about to land at Reagan National Airport repeatedly received mid-air collision alerts when there were no other aircraft nearby. The FAA says several flight crews reported the mystery alerts on Saturday. Air traffic control audio indicates that the alerts happened only miles from the site of the deadly mid-air collision of an American Airlines flight and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter about a month ago.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 6 p.m., Arundel High School at Stephen Decatur and boys basketball. Then at 8:30, we have soccer. The Salisbury Stakes take on the Arsenal. The final score is at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Make your home cozier than ever during Johnny Janasik's Winter Home Sale. Get $100 off every $9.99 you spend, plus up to 18 months no-interest financing. Shop the Winter Home Sale, but it all ends Monday, only at Johnny Janasik.
Oh, porches. Hello, aren't you the guy I see on TV, the porch protection guy?
Yeah, I would say.
So they're made of marine grade materials that last for years?
Yeah, I would.
And they say I could use my porch all year round?
I think so.
And they keep the dirt, pollen, and rain and wind out? And the custom made right here locally?
They are.
I got to run, but it was really nice talking to you.
Well, it was nice talking to you too.
Call or visit porchprotection.com for your free quote.
Let Johnny Janasik help make your outdoor space more relaxing and enjoyable. Shop now and take 10% off all outdoor clearance items. And remember to take advantage of our great financing options for a limited time only at Johnny Janasik.
Every story that we do, number one, it affects us as well because we live here and this is our community as well. A lot of times in the media in general, there are stories that are put out that maybe are not the most popular. Maybe people don't want us to do certain stories, or maybe people question why are we doing those stories. But I just want our viewers to realize that there is a motivation for every story that we do. Our longtime owner, Mr. Thomas Draper, had a saying that we have a moral obligation to serve the people of Delmarva. And that saying really still rings true to this day in how we make our news coverage decisions. It doesn't necessarily mean the stories that we cover will be the most popular. Some people don't want light to be shed on those stories. But I hope viewers can understand there is a motivation for everything that we do, because at our core is the belief that we have that moral obligation to serve them, to give them news that is important to their communities, that could help them on their day-to-day activities. That is something that we always live with, and we have that through line through all of our work. And I just hope people can understand that is really what motivates us to get through every single story we do.
CoastTV, our community, your news.
Each Friday, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV. You can sign up now for our Feel Good Friday newsletter. It's free. You go to coasttv.com/sign-up.
With the threat of severe weather on the horizon, I want to remind you of our weather line you can call, sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, and Federico. Here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. We are under a red alert day, mainly in the afternoon. We're watching out for strong winds in excess of 50 miles per hour, possible structural damage, and there's an outside threat of a possible tornado in our area.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.